This is super easy to set up and really fun to play with. Stick around and we'll get right to it.
Real quick, before we get going, I've got to give a shout out to these guys. They're my latest patrons over on Patreon. If you'd like to help support the channel, I'll leave a link to Patreon down in the description below.
There is always something new to learn about YAAC, and lately I've been learning more and more tricks with YAAC that really don't pertain to APRS. Today, we're going to take a look at feeding ADSB data into YAAC, and we're going to do it with a very inexpensive little SDR. This is one that I've had for several years. They're super cheap over on Amazon. I'll leave a link to this particular one down in the description below. But we're going to grab the ADSB data with this SDR and pipe that information into YAAC so that you can see live plane tracking right on the map. Now, just in case you're not familiar with ADSB data, it is information that is broadcast out by aircraft, and it will let you know where they are located, it'll let you know the speed they're traveling, and it will also typically let you know the altitude at which they're flying. It'll also let you know roughly the type of aircraft it is. So let's go ahead and jump over to the desktop and let me show you guys how to get this set up and running. Okay, so before we jump over to YAAC, we do need to install one little piece of software. You're going to do that with sudo apt install RTL-SDR. Once you get that typed in, go ahead and press return. You'll see that I already have the newest version since I've already got this installed where I've been playing with it. But make sure you do that before you jump over to YAAC. Now that that's installed, we can go ahead and go over to YAAC and start configuring it there. Now, if you don't have maps already inside of YAAC, I'll leave a link to another video that I've done in the past that shows you how to get maps loaded into YAAC. You can download those so they're available for offline use. Now that we've got YAAC open and the map being displayed, let's jump right up to the menu in the top and click on Help, and then we're going to come down to Install Plugins. You will want to find this ADSB plugin right here. I'm running version 0.06c. You would have an install button right here if you haven't already installed this in the past. Once you've clicked the install, that only takes it a couple of seconds to install that plugin, then we can go ahead and configure the port. So we'll go ahead and close out of this plugin screen, and next we're going to go up to File, Configure, and Expert Mode. Once the dialog box opens, go ahead and click on Ports, and you'll see that I've already got several ports defined, but I don't have anything enabled. What we need to do, though, is we need to come down to Add, and that will give us the Add Port dialog box. From this drop-down right here for the port type, scroll all the way to the bottom, and you should now have an ADSB option. Let's go ahead and click on that. I did not change anything right here. I left it as use local SDR command, and this is in here by default. So I didn't touch any of the defaults. So all you need to do now is click save, and we should start seeing ADSB data coming in through the SDR. Let's go ahead and close this box, and I am going to pull up a station list. You can pull up your station and object list from the menu, or you can simply press Control S on your keyboard to pull up this same dialog box. And look there, we're already pulling data into the system. Now, if we let this sit here for about 5 minutes, it's going to pretty much fill up this entire screen. While we're waiting on that, let's go ahead and see if we can find a couple of these planes and take a look at some of the data that's contained when we receive their beacon. So let's look at this one right here. If we simply click on that icon, it will give you this data right here. This particular plane is traveling at 885 kilometers per hour, and it's at an altitude of just over 21,000 feet. Something else that this data tells us is the type of aircraft. So you'll see right here that it says Type A2. Now, I had to go over to ChatGPT to figure out what these types meant. So I'm going to hope that all of this information is correct. If something is not correct, I'm sure one of the pilots that watches this video is going to help me out. But here's the different codes for different aircraft. So you can see a really light, less than 15,500 pound plane is going to get a designator of A1. If we get into A3, those are your large planes. Typically, I've seen this on commercial aircraft. And then if you see an A5, that's going to be a rotorcraft or a helicopter. Now, taking a look at my station list again, you can see that this is starting to gather all kinds of data. Now, I'm not too far from the Nashville airport, so I see a lot of commercial airliners in my area. And that's all there is to getting ADSB data displayed in YAAC. I hope you